Hi there and welcome. In this video, we'll talk about how you can use GitHub workflows and actions to roll out Azure policy updates. In my previous video, I explained how you can easily export your existing policies from Azure portal to a GitHub repository. Now, we'll make changes to those files in the repository and use a GitHub workflow to deploy those changes. So here is the GitHub repository I exported my Azure policies to. You can see that there is a policies folder in which the exported policies are present in form of JSON files. Let's go to the code section now. The export also creates a GitHub workflow folder which contains a workflow file. This workflow file deploys any changes that you have made to the files inside of GitHub repository back to Azure. It gets triggered on a workflow dispatch event. This means that when you go to GitHub Actions UI and click on the Run Workflow button, this workflow will be triggered. Alternatively, if you want this workflow to be triggered automatically with each commit, then you can uncomment this section. Let's now see what all steps have been used in this workflow. The workflow primarily consists of two actions. The first one is the login to Azure action, which basically uses the credentials of the person exporting these files to authenticate with Azure. The second action that is used is the manage Azure policy action, which is a dedicated action for managing Azure policies from GitHub repository. In this case, it uses the paths input and says that whenever there is a change in these paths, go ahead and push them to Azure. Now let me make a small change in this policy and run this workflow. I am now in the policy.json file for allowed resource locations policy definition. Let me make a quick change here and commit it. Okay, the change is now committed. Let me now go to the actions and run the workflow. I'll just push the run workflow button and you can see that a new run has been triggered. Let's go into the logs. As you can see, the workflow run is just starting up. It's now logging into Azure. Okay, let's go into the create or update policies section. You can see that a policy definition has been updated successfully over here. Now let's go ahead to Azure portal and see if the changes are reflecting there. So I'm in Azure portal. Let's go to the allowed resource location definition. Over here you can see that the change is reflecting. Let me also go to the run URL that has been added over here to see if it takes me to the workflow. Okay, it takes me to this workflow. Let me go to the commit that is associated with this. And you can see the exact change that was done is reflecting here. So this is how you can deploy Azure policies using GitHub Actions and can get end-to-end traceability between Azure portal and GitHub.